What is good, guys? It's Moss2Chappy, and we're here today looking at NCAA 14, and really appreciate the love you guys have been showing. And I do apologize for that delay on getting these NCAA 14 videos out. But to make up for that, we're gonna go ahead and give you guys this video here, some very, very valuable information. So get your pencil, get your pad, get your notebook open, Microsoft Word, whatever you use to take notes, because you're definitely gonna want to use this video as a helpful source or reference for the top teams in NCAA 14. And let's go ahead and start it off at the top here. Now, the way I have it broken down, I have 4 tiers. And just because I don't list a team does not mean they're not good. This is, again, just my opinion of the top 10 teams. But with that being said, I do think these teams will give you the best chance to win in this year's game. So I definitely recommend checking them out and, definitely at least having one of them as your go-to teams in money games and situations like that. So, the top of the top, the best 2 teams in my opinion are Alabama and Virginia Tech. Alabama, very expected, 99 everything, #1 team in the game. Their really only weaknesses to me was that they had a slower quarterback. As a starter, they do have a backup that's like 80 speed, so you can make do with that. But other than that, they really don't have any weaknesses on that team, and they probably deserve that because, they've been the best team in college for the past few years. And the next team, which is going to surprise you, is because they're not ranked, and they have a 93 overall. They were also on the demo against Alabama, which I thought was crazy at first, but, now it makes perfect sense. Virginia Tech. And again, with them, there really isn't any flaws on that team. The only flaw I could say is that their kicker only has an 84 power. But other than that, there's literally like no major flaws on that team. And in my opinion, that's who I use. For me, they play like the best team in the game, but can't put them over Alabama. Alabama just has so much to offer. But those 2 teams, I think, are in that first bracket. And again, with any of these 10 teams or 11, it's really personal preference. You can easily move one of the bottom teams in the 10 up depending on your play style. For instance, if you love mobile QBs, Oregon might be your team. If you hate mobile QBs and you just want to pass all day, Oklahoma might move up. So those are just some of the teams that are going to be coming up here shortly. But we'll get into this next tier real quick. And the 3 teams that I have in this tier are going to be Texas, Miami, and LSU. And again, Miami's going to be another sleeper team that people don't know about, but we'll get into that in a second here. Now with Texas, they are ranked 15, 93 overall. The thing about them is that they have slower wide receivers, which is a weakness, but at the same time they're big. So they're the jumping, user catch, catch over defenders type wide receivers. So if that's what you're looking for, Texas may be a team you want to check out. And the only other weakness I would say is their left outside linebacker, but again, very manageable there. Now with Miami, they are not ranked, and they are a 90 overall. And, the thing about Miami is they are literally one of the most athletic teams on the game, if not the most athletic team on the game. The thing about them is that some of those players don't have the highest overalls, but their speed, their height, they're just, the physical attributes are insanely high. And if you know how to work the physical attributes, which seem to be the most important thing year in and year out in games, Miami is definitely a sleeper team. And again, they're not ranked. So if somebody says, "Oh, let's play for money, no ranked teams," Miami or Virginia Tech is definitely going to be the options you're going to want to go with. Those 2 to me are the best 2 teams that are not ranked in the game, and 2 of the best teams in the game, regardless if it's ranked teams or not. So definitely check them out. And LSU, consistently a good team every year, ranked 12, 93 overall. Only real flaw with them is that they have slow quarterbacks and they have slow halfbacks. And that combination, that slow backfield, depending on how you like to play, may be an issue. So if you want to run read options and things like that, they're not going to be the team for you. But other than that, man, they're real good. Definitely have a real nice defense, one of the best Ds in the game, and just solid overall play. If you like passing the ball, they do have guys that can catch, and their quarterback can actually make those passes pretty well. So, you're not going to run into too many issues there either. So, LSU, definitely a safe bet, definitely somebody you can mess with, and real good quarterback as far as passing goes. So, moving into this next bracket, I have 3 teams in here as well. And again, you can just move these brackets around, move teams however you feel. But I have Ohio State, Florida State, and Oregon in that next tier. Now, looking at Florida State, 14 ranked team in the game, 91 overall. And their really only weaknesses are slower defensive ends. But you can really solve that by just putting linebackers, outside linebackers at the defensive end spots. And then their strong safety is a little bit suspect as well. But other than that, man, they really don't have any major flaws. And they're a really good team. They have a lot to offer on both sides of the ball. Next, looking at Ohio State, they also went undefeated last year, but, they couldn't participate in the tournament. Participate in the championship games or any of the bowl games because of the trouble their school got into. But as far as the video game goes, 95 overall, number 2 team on the game. Again, they don't have too many weaknesses either. Their right end is a little suspect, and their defensive tackle, as well as their right outside linebacker. And then that slot corner is a little suspect as well. And while that sounds like a lot, it's not major issues. It's kind of like slight problems, like if you're being nitpicky. And that's the same thing with all these teams. It's really being nitpicky. When you're separating the best of the best, that's usually what it's going to come down to. When you're looking at really 2 talented teams or things like that, or a lot of talented teams, you have to be nitpicky and look at the small things. But that's Ohio State, man. They're real good, and you're definitely going to be happy using them. Now, if you like read options and things like that, fast halfback, fast quarterback, Oregon may be the best team for you. The only issues with them is the slow defensive ends, and the defensive tackle's a little suspect. And I didn't like their second corner either. But other than that, in the D-tackle spot can be solved by putting a defensive end there. And again, with Ohio State, that the slow right end thing can be solved by putting an outside linebacker there. So those are how you can, make up for those types of errors really quickly. But with Oregon, you have one of the fastest halfback, if not the fastest halfback in the game, and you have a very fast quarterback. And if you love read options, definitely a team you're going to want to look at. In this next bracket, we got I got Clemson, I got Texas A&M, and I got Oklahoma. And this is going to be the final 3 teams, basically, to wrap it up. And I have, again, I had Clemson as one of the best teams last year in the game. But this year, again, they're definitely very good, very usable. 93 overall, 9th ranked team in the game. And their only problem really is the defensive end spots and the left outside linebacker. And their kicker only has a 79 power, which can be a pain in the butt. But other than that, man, they're a real good team. They really are strong at a lot of spots. Now, Texas A&M, 4th ranked team in the game, 91 overall. And they're going to sound like they have a lot of flaws, but again, this is being nitpicky, and this stuff can definitely be made up for. For instance, they have weak defensive ends, but if you put outside linebackers there, that problem's solved. They do have some linebacker issues. Their middle linebacker's a little suspect, and they have a slow left outside linebacker. But if you move guys around, you can kind of solve those problems too. The one thing I don't like about their secondary is their strong safety, and they have very short cornerbacks. And if you play a team like Texas that wants to use or catch all day, you can maybe run into some issues there. They're talented corners, mind you, but they are a little bit on the shorter side too. You may want to look out for that. And then the final team I have in there was my personal favorite team in real life. So I kind of had to throw them in there, but they do have some things. If you like passing the ball, like a Peyton Manning type offense or Tom Brady, those kind of guys, the Oklahoma could definitely be the team for you if you want to air it out 4 or 5 wide, something like that. Quarterback is slower, and their right end and middle linebacker spots are a little bit suspect, but they're the 13th overall, team in the game ranked wise, and they're 91 overall, and they're a real good team as well. So these are the top 11 teams in my opinion. You could swap out any one of these teams for probably a few other teams in the game easily, just depending on how you play and whatnot like that. But for me, just generally speaking, without a specific play style, I think these are the best teams in the game, and you're going to want to have one of them as your money team, as your go-to team. They're going to give you the best chance to win and win often, and just give you as much possibility and as many benefits as possible to really give yourself the opportunities to make plays on both sides of the ball and just execute better on both sides of the ball, and make up for some of the mental mistakes you'll make yourself, because the players will make up for that. So these are the best teams in the game to me, and I hope you guys enjoyed this and found this helpful. Go ahead and leave a like if you did, and be sure to subscribe for more, man. We're going to have a lot more NCAA content coming, a lot of helpful tips, a lot of things like that. If you guys would like me to break down even further into detail these teams, let me know. But this was kind of to make it a little bit quicker. This video literally could go on for like 40 minutes if I really broke down in detail. So I'd probably break it into parts, but if you would like me to see a breakdown even further to why I think these teams are the best, let me know in the comments below. We can go ahead and do that. But for an overview, guys, I think these are the teams that are going to give you the best chance to win. And if you see them in a ranked match or something like that, be on the lookout for them. Do not sleep on any of these teams, regardless of their rank, regardless of their overall, or whatever it may be. Because, this year's game, I think these teams, again, give you the best chance to win. And, some guys, they like to play money games with no ranked teams. Some guys, they don't care who you use or whatever the case may be. So just have a team for every opportunity. Some people don't like top 5. Some people don't like top 10, 15, whatever. So kind of just get comfortable with a few teams at a few different rank levels. You got your Alabama, then you got your Virginia Tech for the unranked. That's pretty much all you would need, honestly. But just in case somebody uses one of them, you may want to get comfortable with like a Miami or another team as well. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm kind of rambling on here. And until the next time, I hope you guys enjoyed. We gone.